Round number 5, no oil. Additional deployment or advanced firepower. We both go for the additional deployment. I think it's worth more here. He decides to throw the missile here. I'm just selling the Rhino off. It was a one-time trick. And it's time to go into range for the arc lights. My opponent apparently is not going into more melters and instead has opted for fortresses. But it's level 1 fortresses against level 3 charge shot arc lights. These arc lights, they are doing a hefty amount of DPS. He's also getting some fangs, evidently to block the arc light shots and hope that his army can win while I'm shooting at chaff. That does make sense, since fangs with shields are a nightmare to clean up for arc lights, especially with charged shot. Now you can see that the fortress HP is not a barrier anymore. I hope that wasn't too cheesy of a joke. The arc lights have come to the point where they are able to kill everything that is on the board. And the Mustangs with level 2 are now much more powerful as well. At the end of the day, the Farseer was also really lucky for me, because that saved me the hassle of getting an actually working anti-air solution here. It can kill anything that flies, basically. It has the DPS at level 3. More unit drops, Vulcans, Sandworm, Saber, Scorpion. I think Saber or Scorpion would be the best pick for my opponent here. Maybe even Vulcan. Still has a lot of HP even after a bunch of nerfs. He decides to go for the Sandworm, which has, I think, even more HP. I sell the Scorpion. Scorpion cash. I think... oh no, he hasn't sold anything yet. He doesn't even have field recovery, I think it's called. He doesn't even have that unlocked so far. Also, he has no text. Now, there's multiple things that you could potentially do here. One of them would be, like, go for forts and typhoons. Maybe even add shields on both and just start blasting. Potentially even fang spawning with shields. That would be a way that I could see for him to get to victory. But it may simply be too late. That is a build that comes together at the end stages of the game. And I'm starting to just hammer the front line with an ever-escalating amount of arc lights and arc light levels. Anti-air on the arc lights will ensure that, even if he does swap into Mass Overlord, there's something that can crush it. Yeah. Two of the arc lights have locked onto the fortress, and you can just see it going down in a couple of hits. Same happens to the Sandworm, although the Sandworm will die, of course. And the Wraiths, once they get into range and they're the first thing being shot at, they go down even faster. Oof. Oof, is all I'm gonna say. This one hurt a lot. And all of the arc lights, effectively all of the arc lights, I think this is the only one that didn't level. All of the other arc lights can level up. This is a scary sight. Fortified hackers might have even been a choice. My opponent opts to go for Fang Shield, so he pushed that very expensive button. I'm not even sure if it's worth for 5 packs of... well, 7 packs of Fang. Okay, maybe it is worth at that point. He has oil again, but my army outranges his army, so slow is not really the best option, I would assume. Instead, he goes for EMP Barrage and adds another melting point. I decide to add some of my own chaff, namely because I don't want to get hit with anything that can harm my own units here. These are level 4, level 5 arc lights. They will kill everything, given enough time. Yeah, the oil comes down, but if my units have superior range, and they do, they outrange every single unit that he has on the board, I think oil is not a big advantage. It keeps some crawlers back, I guess. Missing out chaff. I mean, the Arclights aren't going to care too much about missiles unless you stack them real high, which you can technically do. This Arclight got EMP'd, this one barely didn't. But there's just an absolute line of Arclights ready to kill everything as soon as it comes within range. And since everything has less range than they do, everything has to come in range. And thus everything gets killed. As much as the last one was throwing my own head against the brick wall, this was throwing the brick wall against my opponent's head. The brick wall being a lot of orange-ish Arclight shots with charge shot. And they just killed everything. Like for real, I'm scared. How do I even fix this? Alright, I think I'm just going to invest one more attempt into this. And let's make it a fortified hacker attempt. Because I do not have the time or the will in my life to turn a one-match episode into a 1.5 hour journey all the time. I just am not in for that. If there was an easy way to retry something, or an easy way to redo a round, maybe more. But you have to go to the main, through the replay screen, and then you have to select the replay again, and then you have to load the final round again, and then you have to click away the reinforcement screen, and then you have to load the actual match again, and it just is too laborious. Gonna say that plain and simple. Anyway, we have a unit here that is of inferior range. The hacker is fairly tanky though. So maybe I just invest into 4 hackers and see if they can get anything done whatsoever. If they manage to turn some of these units and convert them to my own side, this is going to get infinitely easier. But I am not very... I will be holding my breath before this actually works. Or holding... I don't even know how to say that. I mean, we do have decent chaff clear, so maybe it'll actually work. We do get one Arclight here. We get another one. But we have gotten broken through here by the wasps. Why did they not follow the usual path? Wouldn't have mattered, honestly. I don't think it would have mattered. I think this was just too tight of a grip on my opponent for it to get dislodged all that easy. If you have any way to get rid of this, feel free to do this, but it's an expired replay as well, so I'm just gonna leave it here and say that this is about as close as you can get to total victory as I am currently capable of. I'm sure there is ways to deal with it, but I don't see it, and I don't care. Thanks everybody for watching and listening, and until next time.